Yeah. I thought, the 24-2 was going to maybe put some life into these guys, maybe ruffle some feathers, maybe, inject some energy. 7-0 one hit. Orioles lose 7-0 after being one hit um, by the Washington Nationals. Another just uninspiring game. Just flat out uninspiring baseball. For 9 innings, man. I mean, Orioles, they start out what, six straight balls or something. Mullins walks. Adley takes the first two. You're feeling like maybe the offense, okay, they're being patient. Something's happening. Maybe something's brewing. Shout out to Cedric Mullins, literally the only hitter that showed up tonight who showed any sort of life. Pitching wasn't good. Dean Kramer gets the loss, 5 1/3, 5 earned runs. Shout out Dean, at least going 5 1/3. It could have been like last time. At least he got through the third, went into the sixth inning. Have to use Bowman and Aiken. Shout out to them for saving the rest of the guys. Let's go down. Cedric Mullins, 1 for 2 with the single and two walks. Thank you. Somebody had some life tonight. Adley 0 for 3 with one walk. Gunner 0 for 4. Mountie 0 for 4. O'Neill 0 for 4. Kirstead 0 for 3. Westbrook 0 for 3. Sanchez 0 for 3. And Holiday 0 for 2 with a walk. It's uninspiring baseball. It's uninspiring baseball. And listen, I understand that there's a lot of frustration with Brandon Hyde and Mike Elias right now and all of that. If you think that tonight was if you think that the Orioles need to inject some life into the system somehow, and you think maybe change of manager, change of something would do that, yeah, I think so too. I think right now they need something. If you think that tonight was on Brandon Hyde, I don't know what to tell you. This was the lineup we all hoped for. Everyone was raving about the lineup. The guys just simply laid a goose egg. There's a lot of things that I disagree with Brandon Hyde for doing, um, but this wasn't like a crappy lineup that did this. I don't. This was, besides Gary Sanchez, I don't see how this was a decent lineup. Now, if you want to say over the long haul, they need to get someone else in there to probably, get some juice going. They need a change of scenery, need some sort of leadership change, different message. I agree completely. But at the end of the day, also, like, there's the I don't care who was managing today, the boys just didn't show up. Like, no one showed up today. So do they need a new manager? Potentially. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Hyde's the guy. I think they probably at this point need some sort of new message in there. But it's just one hit, just poor fielding. And this is the thing, they don't look like a team. They don't look like a team right now. They look like a bunch of individuals. They look like a bunch of individuals who are not playing as a unit. They're not moving runners over. They're not getting guys in. Like, I mean, like 0 for 7 runners in scoring position. They had opportunities despite being one hit. I mean, it's not every day you get one hit, but you had 7 opportunities with runners in scoring position. Oh for 7 with runners in field scoring position. I mean, this was just such a poor game by the players. I genuinely thought when you lose 24-2, maybe there would be some sort of, hey, we need to do something. Hey, there needs to be some sort of momentum shift. We need to do something. I don't know if they need to burn some sage, if we need to get like Kyrie Irving in here with like, I don't know what needs to happen. I know I saw someone say maybe an exorcism, maybe like it's only crazy if it doesn't work. Maybe there's some demon in the locker room. We don't know. Don't don't knock it till you try it, I guess. Um, but yeah, the Orioles fall to 9-13. They are minus. We want to talk about not a great run differential. How about minus 29 run differential over the past two games? Minus 29 run differential the last two games. I'm gonna be honest. If you tuned in thinking that I was gonna give like this long winded, energetic, one of my big rah rah, we got to change something. Like I'm pissed off speeches. It's out tonight. I'm don't have the energy. It's draining. We're back. We're back. Last year I talked about the word to describe the second half was draining. That's how it feels, unfortunately, right now. That's how it feels right now. It's just draining after you sit there and you feel like there's good players. I feel like Mullins is a good player. I feel like Henderson's a top player. I feel like Kerstead, Holiday are good players. I feel like Westbrook's a good player. I feel like Mountie has his moments. O'Neal has his moments. Rutschman's been down recently, but I think he's still a good player. They're not showing it. They're not playing like it. It feels like this is just all around been as big of a disappointment as you could have anticipated for the season. Like you could go two avenues. You're not going to win any games that you give up 7 runs, and you will win 0 games that you score 0 runs in. Offense didn't do anything. Pitching didn't do anything. Defense struggled, on basic things. But yeah, yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles. This is Kevin and Zach React live after every single Ravens game. Man, Ravens. He's in the back making fun of me. Orioles game, win or lose. I have a lot of people texting me, Kevin, saying they're looking forward to Ravens season already. Let's bring him on, Kevin Ostriker. Kevin.
And this might be as good a time as ever to plug Locked On Ravens. If you want to go subscribe over there to talk about the sport of Baltimore that has nothing going wrong for it right now, and there's excitement around it. Locked On Ravens, we got you covered on the Ravens. The Orioles, on the other hand, just a bad baseball team, man. I don't know what else to say. They're just a bad baseball team, and
they're not playing like a good one. That's for sure.
I mean, look, the way that I see it is this falls on everybody. It falls on the players. Yeah. It falls on the coaching staff. It falls on general managers, ownership, everybody. Everybody has a hand to play in this. And you can say, one day it's more on the players, one day it's more on the coaches, one day it's more on the front office. Everybody has played a role in this. And it all trickles down as well. Like, does Brandon Hyde have the optimal pitching staff to put together a rotation or whatnot? No, he is not. I think Mike Elias failed, and we've talked about how he failed this offseason. Yeah. But, Brandon Hyde's job is to get his guys ready to play. And right now, the players have no life behind their eyes. I mean, where's the passion, man? I mean, I saw a tweet. It might have been, I can't remember who it was from. Might have been Pickdown Sports. So shout out to Zach. But he said, he saw more passion in guys on the 100-loss teams. Hanser Alberto, Renato Nunez. Like, you saw more passion out of those guys than you're seeing out of the guys on what is supposed to be, or at least, entering the offseason, what we thought was going to be a team that was at least going to compete. These guys aren't competing. They're just going out there, standing on the field in the batter's box for 9 innings and saying, all right, time to pack it up and go home and try again later. And that's not what this fan base deserves. That's not what anybody deserves. Because, yes, it sucks right now. You look at their losses, and shout out actually the guy who told me this stat is a Nets fan, so he's familiar with losing in recent seasons. But the Orioles in their losses have only scored 4 or more runs twice, and one of those was in extra innings. If you don't score runs, you do not win, and that's kind of what we go back to. Of it always feels like something is going wrong. Whether it is the offense is hitting, the pitching staff doesn't have it. Maybe the pitching staff has it, the offense doesn't hit. And in this game, it was just everything. You being outscored as a team that's supposed to be competing in the AL, that is still wide open, by the way. I mean, you have your favorites, but, still wide open. You got outscored 31-2 in 2 games. I mean, if that doesn't call for a change, I don't know what will. And honestly, look, I've said this. I feel like Brandon Hyde won't survive this season. I've been on record saying that for months if it didn't go well. Look, Zach, spoiler alert, it hasn't gone well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he survives till the All-Star break. Now, I feel like Hyde and Elias should be a package deal. I don't think that they are. I think that if anything, Hyde would go and Elias would stay. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
Again, that's not what I would do, but that is my feeling of how the organization
I don't see
feels.
them. I don't see them moving on from both at the same time.
I agree. I mean, look,
I think they're going to give Elias the longer leash. I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, they still thought that I don't think Brandon Hyde was ever really thought to be the guy to lead them into contention.
but
He
then
was
that's
just kind
the
of
frustrating part is you and I both said, hey, he probably should be gone, but he's not going to because they're going to give him the injury excuse, and that's kind of like it's wasting the year essentially. Like you can't.
And Kevin, I'll be honest with you. You know my thoughts. I thought there was almost zero chance of Brandon Hyde getting fired this season. Man, talking midseason. Like I thought it would have to go catastrophically wrong for us to be even having Hyder, do you have, move on midseason? I'm gonna go back into what I said kind of a few last week, I believe, week before. If you are sitting here in June 10 games below 500, I think they consider it. I think that's when, and I know people are going to be like, we can't wait till June. I don't know what to tell you. I find it very hard. Earliest I could see is late May. I just don't see, unless they are sitting there at like, 15-35 or something, then you probably see a move 50 games in. But this is,
Oh, but it's just like so, and again, I'm not bringing the Nuggets into this like as a joke. I'm actually doing it because it's relevant. When the Nuggets fired Mike Malone and Calvin Booth together 3 games ago before this season, it was because things were so catastrophically bad, not just on the court, but also behind the scenes. And again, I'm not saying I have any knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes. I'm just saying that this team looks disinterested. They look unmotivated. They look like they don't want to be out there. And they look like they're in their head. The only guy that's doing anything right now is Cedric Mullins, and he is one of those calm vet leaders. Which, I mean, shout out again to Seti. He's been holding it down, man. But
he's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid.
You can't have 9 Cedric Mullins out there. You got to have other people contributing, and more often than not, we've seen again just a stretch where the pitching staff pitches well, but then it goes away pretty quickly. The offense hits for a game or two, and then it goes away pretty quickly. It's like we say the word consistency 50,000 million billion times on this show. And when we think that, oh, hey, they put together a 2-game stretch, here come 3 games of just awful baseball. And that just, again, the expectations on this team, like they'd be fine if, there were no expectations, they were rebuilding and expecting a 100-loss season again, like whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
But we're not in that era.
Yeah, and Kevin, I know this is the big topic right now is, guys having a role and being comfortable in that role and like getting, we talk about consistency. Like you can't let these guys just kind of go and, oh, you're batting this spot the one day and you're playing here. And, then the next day you're completely switched up. So I do want to react to something because usually we save the reactions to interviews and stuff for the Ryan Ripken Show, but we had a guest on today, Mark DeRosa, MLB Network, but he is the manager for USA Baseball. He talked about pretty much analytics, but mostly how you have to have a feel for the team and how the human element works. And I just want to listen to this because it felt like Mark was preaching to the choir. This is everything we've been saying. So take a listen. Full interview will be out on the Ryan Ripken Show channel.
Orioles specifically, they have a lot of movement in their lineup consistently. It's not the same lineups. They're shuffling in. But around baseball, you said to that point, Buster Posey has a track record of being a winning player. Yeah. And that mean it's going to correlate to the front office, but there is a value to the baseball side, to the analytics. How would you best describe a balance of that?
Yeah, I think you got to have a balance of it, but you better understand the human element of the game and how each move, if the lineup's constantly changing, how can you expect your team to get in a flow? How can you expect guys to know your roles? The most successful teams are the teams where guys drive to the yard every day knowing how they add value to that team. Not wondering if I'm hitting third today, seventh if I go 0 for 4. Am I on the bench? Am I a starter? What am I to this team? Because then you're constantly trying to change your profile day to day. That was the one thing I thought Bobby Cox did better than anyone. He let you know in spring training it was going to be hard for you to change his thought process on how you added value, but I never drove home wondering where I stood year to year.
And then, Kevin, this one part right here, I believe, when he talks about this, and this is where I think is even more important. He talks about players knowing. Like, this isn't a secret. You can't hide it from the players. So listen to this.
The dudes know who should be playing, who should be hitting where, who should be coming out of the bullpen in certain spots. You can't fool them. Yeah. So when you start seeing like crazy things like whoa, we're going there here in the 7th inning, 8th day, you start to wonder what's going on, and it just permeates into the locker room. When you got a guy who's got your back and he's kind of firing on all cylinders, guys are put in the right positions. That's when the good teams and good chemistry comes together.
And Kevin, first full interview over on the Ryan Ripken Show channel. Go check that out after this. I couldn't agree more with everything he said, Mark DeRosa said, and there's a reason that he's managing USA Baseball and the World Baseball Classic, because, Kevin, believe it or not, he knows what he's talking about. And there is that aspect, and we've been begging for it, Kevin, of you have to give some sort of consistency. You have to have guys feel like they're in some sort of role, because if you come to the same, you come to the ballpark every day, not knowing what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing it, what time you're going to be doing it, and things are constantly changing. Oh, hey, I'm on the bench today, but it's a day off. I'm on the bench today, but I need to be ready to platoon in the 5th inning. It feels like every day, guys, Westberg shows up. He's hitting 7th today, playing 3rd. Next day, he might be DHing, batting 2nd. It just feels like right now the Orioles are mixing everything up, and you're not allowing guys to play their role. And I love the part where he talks about guys know, like, you can't hide from them. They know who your best players are. Like, you think they sit there and we put out these lineups. It's got to weigh on players' minds. If you fall behind in a lineup that we looked at and we're like, oh, that's not our best lineup. You fall behind 4 runs, players can say all they want, like, no, we always feel like we're in it. The guys running where you're like, oh, this isn't our best lineup to come back for. It weighs on you mentally.
I'm ashamed to even tell this story, but when I was in just playing baseball growing up, I might have been 10 or 11. I was young. There was a guy that on my team that never hit. He would go up, strike out every single time, and we were in the playoffs. Now every team made the playoffs. We were bad, but still. He goes up, I think it was bases loaded, 2 outs, and I'm screaming at him, just walk, because we knew, like, on the bench, we knew, right? Like, it's a thing. And, it was honestly pretty disrespectful of me, and I apologize to whoever that was, because, look, we're kids, we're having fun, right? But, again, like, to the point, it's like, players know, and players understand. Like, oh, is this really the guy that's getting the 7th, like Mark said? And, the other thing about all these switching lineups and, not having roles, is it also just doesn't give your team the opportunity to see what works and what doesn't. You don't have a big enough sample size. You know, if you're going to a different lineup every game or somewhat of a different lineup every game, you don't have that sample size to say, well, hey, we have a 2-week stretch of this really working. Or, hey, we tried this out for 1.5 weeks, didn't really work. Let's try to shuffle a couple of guys around. You know, Brandon Hyde saying the lineup is ever changing, especially early in the season. Like, yes, I get trying to figure stuff out, but you also aren't giving your team enough sample size. And whether you can talk about a certain player in a certain spot, like if you're talking Adley in the 2-hole, or hey, now Seti's leading off, let's see how that goes. Even still, it's different when, because baseball is a team sport, but it's also individual, right? Individual performances help drive the team sport. So I think that, again, I'm not saying to put the same 9 guys in the lineup for 2 weeks straight at the same exact spots. Obviously, there are going to be off days. There are going to be matchup things. But I just think, again, it's so boom or bust with them in terms of the analytics. And, like, thankfully, even though it was an awful game, Jackson was in the lineup against the lefty today. Like, that was a good step. Like, that's what we want to see is Jackson and Heston and everybody get opportunities. Even if it's not working, it's better to see it now. And, you know, we get into July and Jackson is hitting like .040 against lefties. You can say, okay, this is a trend. Maybe we should try something here. But if you're never going to test them out against lefties, you're never going to know that. So just being more consistent in what you do, that will help you out, not just from a, hey, get a player in a groove perspective because they know what they're doing, but also the team can make better functional decisions off of that.
Yeah. And, you know, talking about when we say, you know, consistency, that doesn't mean it's not okay to try new things out. But something that makes me just grinds my gears about when they try something out, like, okay, I will use this as an example. I hate it. Jorge in center field. Then we've also had, you know, Adley. Obviously, this has had a longer trial in other years, batting leadoff. The Orioles will be like, okay, we need a spark. We need to switch something up. Let's try this guy in this spot. Then it won't work after one singular game, and they'll try something completely new. It's like you didn't give him time to adjust there. It's like you can't just move a guy who's been batting fourth, third, fourth all year, have him bat leadoff and be like, oh, didn't go 3 for 4 first night. Okay, we're moving on. We're trying something next time. If you're going to try something, give them 3 games. Give them the series. Like, it feels like even in the experiments, they're giving guys like 2, 3 opportunities and they're like, didn't work. Okay, next guy. Like Jorge Mateo, yes, that should have been, never should have happened. But they put him out there for one game, didn't work, and they're like, okay, out, nope, next thing. Now, that hasn't worked before, so I'm glad. I'm not saying don't ever try that again. But you get the point, Kevin. Sometimes they experiment, and it feels like they go on as soon as it doesn't provide immediate success. It's frustrating. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. This is Kevin and Zach React live after every single Orioles game, win or lose. You little housekeeping things. Kyle, appreciate you. Mullins is a dot. I hope not. Kyle, don't put that in the air.
Yeah, I was clapping for Kyle, not for the Mullins.
And then Charlie, appreciate you. Mr. Rosa candidate when Hyde is fired. Appreciate you, Charlie. I would love it. I know I've seen people online always are in multiple fan bases are asking for DeRosa. I know Braves fans really want Mark DeRosa right now as their manager. So he'd be a guy. We're talking to him today. Talked to him for about 10, 15 minutes. Talk about a guy who gets it and he understands the player's perspective of it.
I'm gonna just for those who remember this, Orioles. When Hyde is no longer the manager, whenever that is, Bobby Valentine redemption.
Oh my God. This is not the first time you've brought this up.
Dude, because I remember it vaguely. Everybody wanted Bobby V. Yeah, everybody wanted Bobby V.
He declined it.
I know. And look, Buck, I love that it ended up being Buck. Like, Buck was awesome. I loved Buck when he was here. I would love Buck to come back. I don't think it's going to happen, but, I'd love for that to be a thing. But I remember just day and night looking to see if Bobby V appreciate you, man.
Durant. Awesome.
Yeah, appreciate you, Durant. I was going to say that, like, I remember waking up every day checking my phone. Well, Bobby V. And that was before really phones like existed the way they do now. But, checking the computer, seeing if it was going to be Bobby V. So.
That was a time. That was a time. We had Bobby V leave, and we got Buck, and then we had Jason Garrett tell us, and we got John Harbaugh.
Yeah. So yeah,
Although weirdly, some I was gonna say weirdly, some fans now wish they could go back and stop that, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I think Harbaugh.
I wouldn't either. We got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, very successful career. I'm not,
I wasn't calling you out.
All right, I'm just all right. Yeah, that's just again, and even fact of the matter, pitching again. Dean is able to go 5 1/3. So, I mean, better than less than 3 innings on Sunday. But you five is my absolute minimum. Like 5 is when I go, like fine, like great, but fine. 6 is like great, thank you. 7 is you're my hero, and 8 or 9 is like lifetime contract, So Dean did just enough today to not completely spare, or he did enough to spare some of the arms in the bullpen. Bowman ended up going 1 2/3, so that helped a little bit, and then Aiken as well. But you essentially reset the bullpen after Sunday. You don't want to get back into where you were, where you have to use everybody. And then that's it. And plus, you talk about roles, bullpen roles. I mean, really only Felix knows his role. And even then, it's like, when is he available? We talked about this last season with Kimbrel once he was demoted from the closer role. It's like, yeah, Sir Anthony is kind of like your de facto guy there. But other than that, when is Cano going to pitch? Like, is he the setup guy? Is he the 8th guy? Oh, maybe it's Soto. Oh, wait, maybe it's this guy. Like, that also can throw you off.
Yeah, and I know we're talking about with the bullpen and obviously Kittredge and them coming back, then it's going to add even more. They say, Kittredge is ahead of schedule. So then it almost feels like by the time we finally could get some roles, they're going to have to add new guys in. They're talking maybe Charlie Morton goes to the bullpen. It feels like no one on his team, even in the strongest part of it, which has been the bullpen, which, by the way, I feel awful for the bullpen. Did you see their ERA skyrocket because
Didn't it go from Mateo, like fourth to last or something?
Yeah, because of Mateo and Gary Sanchez coming in. Like, I mean, the 15 runs prior to that didn't help. But, like, those 9 runs at the end, like, really not ideal. Not ideal. Kevin Butt, if people were looking for some sort of, good news, tomorrow, Trevor Rogers rehab start. I mean, like, back? Are we back? Are the O's fine?
Yeah, I'll see you later, big.
Are the O's fine? Trevor Rogers is coming back.
Yeah, let's just bring up what Kyle Stowers has done this season. Why don't we? Let's just rub it in.
Stowie absolutely killing another 2-out RBI. I'm sorry, everyone. I tried to lighten the mood. We got Trevor Rogers. I saw I think it was Orioles fan Ryan. So he was like, "What if Trevor Rogers comes back, goes like 140 innings and like a 2.4 ERA?" He was like, "How absurdly crazy would that be?" People in the comments did not like that, but of course it's
you gotta get your sick humor jokes off when you can, and that was certainly a sick humor joke from you.
Kyle, appreciate you. Orioles didn't trade an arm, then he makes us start. How that trade for an arm? Yeah. Oh, okay. Orioles trade for an arm. I think Kyle, you're saying.
Yeah, I guess Kyle was trying to say is they pick up an arm and then they just throw him out there.
I would do it. Kevin, how's the arm looking? How's the arm looking?
Go Vieira. What's he up to?
What is?
Oh! Is he talking? He's talking about Blewett. That's what he's talking about. Because they traded him with the Braves, and he started tonight for Atlanta. Okay.
And how did he do actually? I mean, he was just opening. Grizzlies just officially lost. That's awesome. So glad I got that notification.
I brought up this point here from FNS. How much longer can Hyde last? Not like the rest of the team is playing well besides pitching. I just think it honestly comes down to like if the locker room is lost, and certainly like I don't think it's sunshine and rainbows in there right now. Again, I'm not saying I know anything, but it just, with the way the team is playing. I mean, if it is truly lost, a change has to happen. Like you have to get somebody in there that can at least motivate the guys. And right now they don't look motivated. Like that's Hyde's job, to be a motivator, to be a guy that the players want to go to war for every day. And right now things are just going so poorly that it doesn't, has he slowly been losing it? Is it a product of this season? Like whichever side you're on that, I mean, it's not great right now. Guys aren't having fun, and Hyde has to find a way to get him out of that. So if this continues, like you talked about, Zach, All-Star break, before All-Star break, May, June, like whatever.
It's got to be, if they continue like this, it's got to be well before the All-Star break if they want to have any chance at, saving, unless they're floating at like 5 below 500 and they make the move at the All-Star break. But if you're 15 games below 500 at the All-Star break, it's just at that point it might be too late. I would say they need to make a move.
Well, and you can't waste the season, man. I mean, and again, extensions galore as well. Like I know that I think the Adley extension actually is becoming more of a hot topic now with how bad he's playing.
That's the extension they'll announce tomorrow. And it's
honestly, that would be the one that would
piss
the fan base off. Right.
People
now.
like absurd. Like they give him like 300 mil. Like everyone's like, what? Like that would.
But like it's been nothing. They lost Corbin, which again is not a shock. Like, we all expected that. But again, we expected them to add somebody else, an ace type caliber pitcher. They did not do that. And this was their solution. They have dug this hole for themselves. They have to get out of it themselves. Ryan and others have noted that teams don't want to trade this early. They just don't. It's going to be the Orioles and no one else. Teams want to bid against people. Like, that's just what it is. That's why the trade deadline, if the Orioles had made that Corbin Burns deal at the trade deadline, it would have cost them a lot more than Joey Ortiz and DL Hall in that pick, which, by the way, Joey Ortiz is struggling right now in Milwaukee. DL Hall, I don't think he hasn't even pitched this year because he's injured.
He's injured again.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah, Kevin, controversial topic right now. Happened Sunday. I meant to bring it up. Mr. Splash doing the bird path for Adley's home run while we were down 18. Do you think there was a run limit in which they just should turn off the bird path?
No. I don't think. I understand it. I don't think. I mean, that's his job, man. Let a man make his salary.
I just saw someone on Twitter being like, you know what? I'd be so mad if this team was down 20-2 and I got three.
That is pretty funny. That is pretty.
Should we play the song? We're not playing the song.
No, dude. They've been outscored 31-2 in the past 2 games. They're playing like the worst team in baseball right now. The 31-2 is literally the exact score the Ravens beat the Texans on Christmas. The exact score.
Damn.
Yeah, you want some football. It's kind of my job to cover the Ravens, so gotta have stats.
Kevin, you're good at what you do, Kevin. You're good at what you do.
I try.
We try to be the best we can every single night for you guys. This is Kevin and Zach React. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We got about 200 people sitting in here on YouTube, more on X as well.
Everybody.
Appreciate everyone. No, it's not fun. We are hitting call-ins, though. Call-in link is live. If you want to come talk about this. I'm just going to overall.
Or literally anything else.
Literally anything. If you don't want to talk about this, if that is totally cool. Is totally. So, Kevin, you think no run limit for Mr. Splash?
I mean, it would have to be record. If it was over the record, 30-3, if we're talking 30 runs, that's probably where if I had to pick, I'd say 30 runs. But then I didn't see it. Was he super hyped about it, or was he just kind of?
I mean, I know it was just I just saw it on on Twitter, and I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, that is very funny.
Yeah, so So I just was I was like, you know what? I was just because someone was if I was in that bird bath and I got sprayed down 18 runs, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's head on to our first column. We're going down to Arkansas. But Joe, what's up?
What's good?
What's
Joe?
going on?
How you feeling?
You know, it's Tuesday. I mean,
Certainly is. That's
the
better.
Razorbacks played today.
Did
How'd
they
they
win
do?
at least?
I think they won. They
All
they
right, well, you
played
know what?
they played Little Rock today, so
All right, at least one team won.
it's a
Oh.
two game midweek set before we head to Florida. So much like the Orioles, the Razorbacks need to get their head right a little bit because a little bit of a slump, but still number 5 in the country. I'll take it.
Yeah, you know what?
Getting some good
It's
positive
a little
news.
victories.
Yeah, good positive news. So better.
And
than
I did
yesterday.
not get beat up. I promise. This is just
I was wondering what happened, but
uh,
honestly,
an
I was
allergy.
wondering.
Yeah.
It's an allergy. I hit something outside when I was working outside that just broke me out like crazy. So
Man, well, I hope you feel better and it heals up.
it's Kevin's fault, really.
It is.
What I do? What did I do?
Kevin,
Kevin
it's all
busted
your
his
fault.
cornea, and now all of a sudden he can be in front of lights, and I got a half a shiner under my right eye.
You know, it did start
So-
feeling better right around yesterday. So maybe you took my pain away.
I mean, you can see the top of my head broke. Like I don't know what it was, but something
Man,
outside.
well, hey, you can't blame that on me because my head was feeling fine. So
Something
that's
outside
just
decided to just attack my skin and say, "Don't touch me." So
Man,
you know.
well, yeah, well, we hope it feels better soon, Joe. That stuff can be annoying. I've been there, especially with the cornea
Yeah.
recently.
I was going to say, Kevin has eye issues all the time.
I do. People in my comments on Lockdown Ravens are like, "Dude, why are your eyes so red?" And I'm just like, guys, this happens all the time. Like it just
It's
Kevin's doing drugs.
It's the good Baltimore weed.
No.
Kevin's doing drugs on screen.
Man, I have a kid. We've
been. This is when we find out. This is when we find out.
No.
Locked on 420.
Oh
New
God.
host.
Oh God.
Joe,
Absolutely
appreciate
not.
you as always.
Start it up. Kevin, you don't work hard enough. Locked on 420. Your daily update of marijuana prices.
Please. We cover the Ravens in this room.
Street and medical prices.
I don't know a thing about that, man. I couldn't do a good show
Locked
on
on 420.
Yeah,
coming to a podcast near you.
Yeah,
I completely agree, Joe. We're gonna have to get Kevin started on that.
Please.
Joe, appreciate you as always. Got a lot of call-ins as I expected after tonight, so we gotta keep it rolling. But you have yourself a good
appreciate
one.
you, Joe. Feel better.
We're going tomorrow. Another day. Streak lives. So
Streak lives. Let's go.
Streak lives. Appreciate you, Joe. Oh, gotta see the other guy.
Yep, man. Actually, there's something about Aaron Gordon. If you saw that video of him, he was doing an interview. Just looked like he got absolutely beat up by someone. Like his lip was busted. He had like cuts all over his face, and someone's like, "Did
what
the
happened?
Nuggets interim coach come in there and just punch Aaron Gordon in the eye and say we're winning now?" That's
sometimes you gotta get vibes.
Yes.
We're gonna head on over to our next call in. We got Ray. So Ray, how are we feeling after that?
I don't know what's worse, this Orioles team right now or Brian Roberts on the broadcast. I mean, he's talking about, wrong colored bobbleheads and red fog. Who knows what he was talking about?
Although I'll give it to him. It's got to be brutal to call these games right now with the Orioles playing the way they are. They just feel like they got to talk about anything but baseball.
No, I hear you, but I mean, it's 7-0 in the ninth inning. He's like, it'd be really great if the Orioles could get a base hit. Really? You think? To break a shutout?
It's pop up after strikeout after just a whole bunch of stuff.
I mean, look, I'm a Dean Kramer guy. He has not been good. But I mean, at some point, I know no one wants to kill our young guys because we grew with them through this rebuild. But we had one hit tonight. I mean, Parker's good, but he's not
Ain't that good?
Yeah.
He's not Koufax, though. He was really good. I'm not taking anything away from him. But other than Mullins and the first at-bat Jackson had, all our at-bats tonight were awful.
Horrible.
We played like we had a plane on a tarmac, and we're 45 minutes up the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was every at bat was rushed. They got themselves, like I said, they somehow found themselves with 7 opportunities with runners in scoring position and just horrible pitch selection to swing at. It was how many 2-pitch at bats they had tonight was unreal. So like every pitch was 0-1 pop up, 0-1 ground out, 0-1 weak fly ball. They weren't getting good contact. They were swinging at pitchers' pitches. He was pitching to contact. He was getting weak contact early in counts. And it's annoying. I agree, Bob. It feels like we just can't hit lefties, period, right now. Doesn't matter who they throw out there. If you're a left-handed pitcher, if I was pitching against the Orioles, I would pitch a bullpen game every time and just throw all your lefties out there. Be like, you got 3 games.
They might start doing it.
What?
I mean, it's a good strat. I mean, the Tigers, if you remember when the Tigers came to Camden Yards when they were having that run down the stretch, they would start a righty for 2 innings, so we'd put all lefties in our lineup, and then they'd start bringing in their left-handed relievers.
Yeah.
I mean, even last year, we started the year where we could hit lefties a decent amount, and then we trailed off. That's why we thought we needed Sanchez, Laureano, and all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is the silver lining of this, and there's not a whole lot good to talk about right now. We're going to get Gibson in the next week or two, and I'm not saying he's going to be the savior, but his vibes are good. He always seems like he's a clubhouse dude.
Yeah.
We need that right now because outside of Mullins, nobody seems like they're being a leader. And we're going to get Eflin back, but Elias needs to be on the phone with anybody right now that will take his phone calls. And I'm not talking about getting somebody who I texted my uncle last week, and I was like, what about Cal Quantrill from the Marlins? He's like, he's got a 6 ERA. Stop it. I'm like, that's an improvement.
It's so sad, but it's so true.
Yeah, I don't know what you want. I mean, 6 ERA would be our number 2 starter.
Yeah, we've entered the portion of the year where we're pining for Kyle Gibson and pitchers with 6+ ERAs because that's how dire it is for them right now. So
just be average. That's all we need from our pitching staff. I know on tonight's like that when you have 1 hit, it's going to seem like it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, Eflin wasn't saving anything tonight. Like
no.
Yeah, and that's why I was talking about. There are so many games where I can point and be like, okay, this was poor management. This was, Elias didn't put up a good team for this, whatever. Tonight, like I get people are frustrated with that and everything. The guys just didn't play. Like they just looked awful. I don't care who made the lineup, who anything. They put what I believed was probably one of our better lineups minus Sanchez out there. No one did a thing. So that's what's frustrating is even when it feels like, okay, they're giving us like, okay, you're putting the best lineups out there. You're giving us a chance to win. Even in those moments, there's something going on with the players. It's not clicking.
And look, I agree with everything you said. The only thing is this would be the one game where I'd be like, you got to play Laureano. He played so well this weekend.
Yeah, that's –
he almost hit – I was in right field when he hit 2 home runs. He almost hit a third. That one was closer than I saw it on TV later. Because I recorded the games. I have no life. I recorded the game and watched it. I was like, how close was that on TV? And I'm like, wow, that was on the wall where I was. So,
yeah. It truly is. Laureano's and that's what's annoying. It feels like, even when we, a guy gets hot, then he gets that. It's just how it feels recently. Just overall, something's got to change. But, Ray, we appreciate you calling in. As always, man, hopefully, I keep saying it. Hopefully, we're talking about a win tomorrow. Hopefully, we're talking about
maybe
a win
you just need to
tomorrow.
stop saying it and then they'll win.
Do the Orioles know you can lose and still have a pulse?
Yeah. At least be competitive in the game. I mean, not lose on football scores.
It's one thing to lose, and, there's some losses you leave and you go, at least they showed fight. What do you say?
Yeah, exactly. You don't say anything. You just go, they attempted to play baseball today.
Yep.
They attempted to play baseball. Well, Ray, appreciate you as always, my friend.
Appreciate you, Ray.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with what Ray's saying. It just feels like in losses, there's no pulse. There's just nothing
Well,
there.
it's either this is what we've talked about, they beat a team 12-1 and then they lose 10-0 or 3-1 and there's no in between. Like, it's either the offense looks lifeless and the pitching staff does well, the pitching staff doesn't do well, but the offense picks them up. Sometimes they'll have those games where everything is clicking, and then you just have the majority, which is like one thing just goes terribly wrong. So, stuff. I mean, what if I had told you quickly before we get to our next call? And if I had told you, 4 games in? No, 22 games in to the year. What would you have predicted?
22.
I think, 22.
22. No, you did math right.
What would you have predicted the Orioles record have been on, like, before opening day, night before?
22 games into the year. 14-8. Actually, no, tough schedule. I'll say 12-10.
12-10. I might have gone 13-9.
Yeah, like I'm saying in that 12-10 to 14-8. I think in my prediction they would have handled Cincinnati, would have handled Toronto both times, won both of those series. Trying to think who else have they played right now off the top of my head. I feel like they would have been more competitive. Obviously, they beat Cleveland. I expected them to lose to a scrappy Kansas City team, but yeah, no, this is definitely worst case scenario. Would not have predicted that 22 games in they would not at least not have double digit wins.
Yeah, it has been bad. So
yeah, so let's head over to our next call, and we got Rod waiting in the back. Rod, you there?
What's up, guys?
How's
hey,
it
Rod,
going?
how you doing after that?
Long time listener, first time caller.
Well, appreciate you calling in, man. We appreciate it.
What's on your mind?
This actually wasn't intentional. I just got I got a notification and I thought it was just the YouTube show, and I clicked on the StreamYard. I was like, I never used StreamYard, and now I'm here. So
hey, now you're here. And we're glad you are. Although I wish it was under better Orioles circumstances than tonight.
You guys do a great job. First of all,
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You guys definitely. When after a loss, I always enjoy listening to everyone else. Be on my same mental wavelength when it comes to this team.
Mm-hmm. It is
we're
very
there with
nice.
you. We feel it with you.
31-2. 31-2.
Awful.
Like who? 29 plus 29 or minus 29 run differential over 3 games. That's got to be like I don't know what the Elias Stats Bureau has on this, but that's got to be some kind of that's got to make a list somewhere. Another thing. I know people don't want to hear this, but something drastic has to be done. Like when the team is playing like this, you have to shake things up, and it may not be what people want to hear or say. I'm not even going to go all the way there, but you probably know what I'm thinking. Something has to be done, and you can't fire the players. So I mean, it's just like something to shake people up on the team. Like I don't care. I'm tired of hearing about these guys love Hyde. Blah 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 blah. They love him. Like great, but like something is getting lost along the way. And the pitching isn't helping matters, but I mean, everyone is terrible right now, except for Tommy Sugar. Everyone sucks.
Split him.
Him and Seti are carrying the team right now.
And Seti. So it's just like, I mean, I just don't know what like, and I know that's not going to happen. That drastic measure. It's still April, but I mean, I've seen a lot of teams I've seen a lot of baseball. I'm older than both of you guys. I've seen a lot of baseball, and I've seen teams do drastic things just to shake things up. And I've seen that drastic thing carry over, and all of a sudden, it's like a whole new team you're watching. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just it's so frustrating.
Yeah, and I agree. Sometimes it's not necessarily that there's going to be this, massive change in how they approach, at the plate, that they're going to be pitching any differently, anything like that. Sometimes it's simply just, it's a new message. It's, something to shake up the vibes in the locker room, get some sort of, something else in there. Just re-energize these guys and be like, oh, no, we are playing for something. This isn't, they're not content. They're not just sitting there going through the motions. It's like, hey, get someone in there, to shake things up and make these guys be like, oh, okay, we're playing for something.
A new voice. And like, Kevin's a Nuggets fan. That's what the Nuggets did. Nuggets did that when they were like 15 games above 500 when they made that move.
Yep.
2 years removed from a championship. I mean, like,
and they won 4 straight games after it. I mean, it injects life into you.
Yeah, and I think part of it is it pisses you off because you're like, shit.
Yeah,
we caused this. We caused this.
Yep.
And so it makes you feel like crap, like. So I don't know. All right, I don't know. I'm ranting. I'm just like
this is what but this is the frustration that I think everyone feels. Every Orioles fan feels that it is frustrating because you feel like it's the same message over and over and it's not working. It feels like every single conference we hear the same things over and over. Like, we're trying new things. We're experimenting. We're trying to get our feet underneath them. We're trying to get some guys going. And it's like, we can't be trying to get guys going for a whole 162. We eventually something's got to get put in motion and we got to go for this. It can't just always be, well, we're playing the long-term game. It's like, go win now. You got this team. Go win now.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to hear. I mean, I know Rubenstein is laying back and doesn't want to be that kind of meddling owner, at least not yet. But somebody, I mean, like, where are you? Like where? I guarantee you, like the other guys, like Aaron Getty, who's like a total baseball nerd. Like his co-owner, the other guys as his partner. He's got to be like, what is going on? Like, he's
these guys are competitive.
Yeah,
Eric Getty, and then we actually did an interview with Eric Getty last summer. He is somebody who he wants to win. These guys are not satisfied with. So that's going to be another interesting thing. Is I'm wondering when they step in, kind of like you say, and are like, listen, we didn't purchase this team to be sitting 4 games below 500, and however bad it gets or whatever ends up happening, they want to go win. They bought this team to go win.
Yeah. And when those seats are empty in May and June, it's not gonna be pretty.
No, it's not.
So that's all I got, guys.
Awesome. God, appreciate you calling in. Glad you stumbled upon us. Come on in
hopefully we'll see you more often for sure.
I'll be back. I'll show my face right now. I'm eating dinner, so I'm kind of like.
Oh, that's all right. That's
all good.
I will lift the veil next time.
All right. Oh, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it.
Appreciate you, Rod.
All right, Rod. Awesome.
Love when people call in for the first.
I love
so
it.
great to get to talk.
And he made some great points, and I'll bring up a point that I just saw it right as Rod popped off. Steve brought it up. That was their response to Sunday. Like, you thought. They just, and let me tell you, there's been enough of this where I give up on them having like big emotional response spots after emotional things. Like, after the Heston game, other big losses or big wins, like they don't do it. And this was another thing of that where it's like you expect, you get beat down as badly as you did on Sunday. You'd expect that to piss everybody off, to come out there with their hair on fire, to have an inspirational showing. And what did we see tonight? The exact opposite in every single facet. So it's tough.
It is. And Kevin, before we get on to our next call-ins, sometimes I've seen brought up on Twitter, but we talk Cedric Mullins gets on first at bat of the game after you just lost 24-2. Cedric Mullins gets on. I understand it's a lefty up. I get that. Why are you not stealing? Why? I thought the Orioles were supposed to be running more this year. Wasn't that what we were told all season, all spring training? We're going to be aggressive on the base paths. We got these athletes. We're going to use them. Like, put something in motion. Like, I'm telling you right now, if Cedric Mullins gets thrown out on that first pitch of that Adley at bat, trying to make something happen and steal second after we just lost 24-2 the game before, I'm totally for that. Like, show some sort of like, we want to do this. Like, we have some sort of fight. Like, that's where I want to see something. It's a little thing like that I think makes a difference. Like, show some sort of like, hey, we're just going to fight for this. We're going to be scrappy. They keep talking about they want to be scrappy. They want to be those scrappy teams. Go be a scrappy team then. Talking about being a scrappy team doesn't make you a scrappy team. You got to walk the walk.
Yep, and teams have done it before, like Rod said. I mean, I saw a comment. Where was it? Jason saying, yeah, the Phillies did do it with Girardi, and that team went to the World Series after they did it. Girardi, what was it? Like they were 22-29 or something, or some record along those lines. They fired him. Rob Thompson comes in, and they go on a run to the World Series. Like, it can inject you. I mean, again, the Nuggets lost their game last night, but if they had somehow pulled it out with Kawhi being the best basketball player I've ever seen last night, if they had somehow won that game, Nuggets would have won 5 straight games after completely cleaning house 3 games before the playoffs started, because they knew that vibes were off and they still understood they had a chance. The Nuggets wouldn't have done that if they thought the season was over. They would have just waited till the offseason. They would have said, all right, it's a sunken cost, sunken ship. Let's just wait. It'll be whatever. They still think that they had a chance, and they thought that they did. So they made the necessary changes. The good thing about it being so early is that despite how bad it's looked, the Orioles still do have a chance, even though right now it doesn't feel that way to me. It probably doesn't feel that way to you. It probably doesn't feel that way to anybody. But if it is a big drastic change that comes in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks, couple months, whatever it may be, maybe months is too late. But if things keep going the way they are, here's what I'll say before we get to our next caller. It's one thing to lose and go on losing streaks. It's another thing to lose like this. To be so disinterested, so unorganized, and so just all over the place that you look like the worst team in baseball. And they have been the worst team in baseball for the past 2 games, bar none. Not even close.
Yeah, you can't argue it.
Yeah,
can't argue. So it's little things. It's throwing to no one covering second, so a guy gets turns a single into a double. We've had singles. We had a single turn into a double. We had 2 singles turned into doubles because of misplays or just lazy plays in the outfield, and a single turned into a triple. It's all avoidable. And I'm pretty sure all 3 scored. So let's move on to our next caller. We got Laura. Laura, O's are not fine.
The declaration is here. The declaration is here for everybody to see.
I mean, do you not see my face?
Your expression tells 1,000 words.
In the last 4 games, our opposition has scored 44 runs against us. We've scored 14. You can't win games giving up 11 runs a game. I'm just saying.
You'll go 0-162.
Just saying. Fundamentals, the defense. I mean, this is little league shit here. I'm sorry, I'm cursing, but I'm not a happy mama. This is little league shit here. Covering bases. What the hell are they doing? What the hell are they doing? Sorry,
playing bad baseball.
Simple. That's what's most frustrating is it is little league stuff. It's simple things. Is like bad angles to the baseball. Throwing to the base and no one's covering it. It just feels like everything they've done recently has just been poor baseball. There's been nothing that makes you. And here's the thing. Here is the one thing that I'll say. If you're going to make a mistake going 1,000,000 miles an hour, that happens. But what's worrisome and frustrating is these mistakes are going while it feels like there's no effort. Like it's happening because it's lazy tracks to balls. It's lobbing it in, but no one's at the base. If you're going to try, if you're going to, you overrun a baseball, your ball gets past you because you go to try to make a diving play. You go 1,000,000 miles an hour.
That's one thing.
That's one thing. But what's frustrating is these mistakes are happening when it feels like there's no effort behind them.
None. This team, after Sunday, just is beat down. And they showed it today. They were just beat down.
Yeah.
They talked about sacrificing a chicken. In this economy, I need to save my chicken for my eggs. I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, and you see how Ryan bounced up out of here and didn't even say the O's are fine because he knows that the O's are not fine.
Yeah, it's not looking like the O's are fine at the moment.
The O's are fine is retired. It's what long way to go.
Long way to go.
The shirt is gone. I put the shirt away in a bin in the closet.
Man, we got to get at least a 5-game winning streak going before we can even think about saying
correct. Before I can even pull that shirt back out. That shirt is
Laura, look what you did. Look what you did. You called him out, and he's coming. He's coming right back at you. He's coming right back.
Come on, Ryan. Bring it
right back at you. You think I lurk in the shadows and I'm not in studio? He's always Ryan's always lurking around. You can't get anything off on him without him knowing about it.
I mean, I had his back earlier today on the show when he was talking about the pitching and not getting the right pitches and everything else, and I'm like, yeah, I can see all that. This I can't explain. It can't be the pitching. It can't all be picked. It can't all be picking the wrong pitch at the wrong time. It can't be. Because if that's what it is, we need a new pitching coach. We need a new hitting coach. We need new coaches, which includes Hyde. Everybody has to go. We're cleaning house.
Yeah. It's something needs to change. Either if there's not some energy soon, and when I say soon, I mean in the next 5 games. Like this is not you can't wait another 2 months. You can't sit there and be like, oh, we're waiting along. Oh, they're going to get it eventually. There's gotta be something that happens soon for them to really feel like they can make a run back at this. Because we talked about McDonald earlier this year before the season. He said you can't fall behind early this season with how good the AL is. They're lucky that no one's running away with it, but we are getting.
Now I will give them that. We're only 4 games behind the Yankees. I'll give you that. Sure, okay. But, we can't keep going like this because very soon we are going to be 6, 7, 8, 10 games behind the Yankees, and we're not going to be able to catch back up.
I agree.
That's the problem.
I agree, Laura. And Laura, appreciate you calling in as always.
Always a pleasure. Kevin, did you get to urgent care yesterday?
No, because my eye was better.
Okay.
My eye was better. I gave you the Monday deadline. It was going.
You did.
It's not. I don't think it's probably like 98%.
Okay.
But maybe that's just me psyching myself into it. Still,
that's fine too.
So
that's fine too.
I'm officially back, and apparently I've passed it on to Joe. So
okay. Well, I hope I hope Joe feels better. That allergy looked very bad. So
Awesome.
Bring Ryan on because I gotta see what he got to say.
We'll see if he pops on.
Laura, appreciate you as always, and hopefully we'll talk about something better next time.
Yeah, please. Hopefully.
Let's head on. We have another call in we gotta get to before the main event. We got Jabo. Jabo, you there?
Yeah, what's up, fellas?
Hey, how you doing, Jabo?
I thought I was the main event. What's going on?
I know.
Come on, Zach.
Come on.
Goodness
Ryan
gracious.
and said,
What's a guy got to do? Anyway.
Zach sometimes doesn't know how to act on the microphone. It's fine.
I'm just kidding. I don't know if you talked about this stat, but Kramer gave up 8 extra base hits tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most an Orioles pitcher's given up in 71 years. 1954. That's no bueno.
Yeah, with each stat, it just gets more and more depressing.
I don't know what to do. I don't know.
There's one thing about not playing well, but then right now it seems like the Orioles are playing in historically bad company. Like every time you look, you're like, oh, that's not like, oh, they're just having a bad season. This is like, oh, they're in the ranks of worst of all time starts.
It's like the Ravens. Kevin, you remember the Ravens defense? They kept setting new records for bad.
Oh yeah.
It was
they had the players only meeting and it turned around. They made tough decisions and it turned around. So
that's right.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah.
I'm not. Every time I see a quote, I don't know if you saw Tyler O'Neill's quote after the game.
I've seen it in the chat. Can you tell us what he said? Or if just the spark notes, you don't have to remember the exact thing.
It was just something like some teams have those guys that, you know, when things are down, they step up. Other teams, they just kind of deal. Basically, every team deals with this kind of stuff differently, and we just got to play better, kind of thing. And I thought it was. I don't know. I don't like the answers we're getting. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
Yeah,
I just feel
they're
like it's
dejected answers.
very. Yeah, it's all dejected. It's just like, well, we're just not that kind of team right now. So it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna get bad. I don't know.
You just
Something's got to give.
Something. I don't know if it's a big lineup change. I don't know if it's a management change. I don't know if it's some change, but something does have to happen.
I mean, are we gonna get Heston and Jackson line up together against the lefty again, or is this gonna? Is this something to prove them right?
Yeah, that would be worst
I'm like,
case.
of course,
I think.
of course. The one game they try it, they get one hit, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, that'll be
This
the worst
justifies them in their minds, like, oh, we got to go back to Mateo at second base. So
yeah, well, that's better than him in center field, at least.
Yeah, I'll give
true.
him that.
True.
I'll give it to him. I'll give him that. At least we're not. As long as he's not in center field, I'll take it. A win is a win.
Yep.
Anything.
Gosh, I don't know. And like
Yeah.
people keep thinking Gibson's going to be the savior, but if we can't hit, doesn't matter.
He could have pitched a 9-inning 1-run game tonight.
Right, it wouldn't matter.
So.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Well,
yeah.
Take care, guys. Hopefully tomorrow.
Always appreciate you calling in.
Have a good night.
You too. Yeah, Bo. Yeah, it's one of those nights, Kevin.
Yeah. See, this is how you do this, Zach. You ready? The Orioles. That was a tragedy. Speaking of tragedies, we have right.
Still one of the best intros of all time.
It's so great. So great. It always lightens the mood.
Oh, goodness. Oh, fellas. Yeah, it's always
it's
always a segue.
There it is.
See, it's funny. Like, I always figure out, it's already like on X. I'm getting so many mentions. I've never seen a team, if they lose and then I'm the problem. I'm the asshole. But I saw a comment out there actually. They said it was equally as embarrassing, the 24-2 compared to today. Like, I'd argue the loss today, when I was playing, this loss today pissed me off more than when I lose 24-2.
So many little things.
Well, because on the 24-2 game, you get smacked in the face and you're kind of sitting there going, oh, like, what the hell was that? But then you have this feeling of like, all right, well, I can't wait to get back there the next day. I'm going to go back to work, and it's a beautiful night out. You're walking around. It's not like you're fighting bad weather. And then Mitchell Parker just shoves it right up there. And the at-bats weren't competitive. Seti was great, relatively speaking, had great at-bats. So, like, to me, as a player, as a competitor, that's what frustrates you. And I think overall, everything I'm hearing, because I listen to everything, I watch everything, I think it's fair to say what people are most frustrated about is not that the Orioles necessarily are losing. It's the way the Orioles are losing is what bothers people more. If the Orioles lost tonight 7-5, and say Dean gave up 5 or 6 or whatever he ended up giving up, and you walk away and you go, okay, this team fought back and they lost. You're frustrated, but you see that. They fell behind. You felt like they couldn't come back.
Yeah.
And then at no point was there any contested play. It was just Mitchell Parker riding into the sunset. So I get that. I mean, and that's the crazy thing here is I don't think this is a bad team, but I think the brand of baseball is bad right now. I think that is the way I look at it. It's, you go out and play, and that's why they've beaten teams. Like, you're not a bad team if you can go out and absolutely smack around Hunter Green. You're not a bad team if you can go and show that you can compete. But a bad brand of baseball is not being able to follow it up and to let it go. The reason what Hyde's saying in the comments, and I'll talk about it tomorrow, this was a problem for the young guys last year. And I tell this doesn't necessarily have to do with Hyde, it doesn't have to do with Elias. Of course, those are the people responsible. So you get a point blame. You're 1 through 9. You're 1 through 9 hitters. I don't even know what the hell I just did there. My bad. How do we get out of there? Deep. We're back.
I was expecting something to pop up. I was
Yeah,
like,
so
what
did
are we
I.
I know. My computer went dark
Thought
for
we
a
had
second.
show and
I
tell.
apologize. If you're what your strengths are supposed to be, your offense, your bullpen. Your offense 2 through 9 didn't get a hit. Is that right? That was it. 2 through 9 didn't get a hit. So your all-stars, your MVP type players don't play well. Cedric Mullins is the only guy that did anything. And then on top of it, then your starting staff, which it's documented, right? Like we could talk about this forever. Yeah, starting staff doesn't go deep into a game, you're going to have trouble. It's not a secret anymore. This is the reality of what they're dealing with. And especially, I'll put it this way: it's a 3-0 game in the fifth. Going into the fifth,
so what's unfortunate.
If the Orioles score runs in the fourth or fifth, it's a way different feeling. Instead of the pressure on your weakness right now of the squad, which is the starting pitching, it's a lot more pressure on there. And I give Dean credit for battling. I didn't think the defense helped him out in many different ways.
No.
He obviously hung pitches. The Nate Lowe was a hanging cutter, slider, whatever it was. And we talk about it. You hang those pitches over the heart of the plate, hitters are going to take advantage of it. But Heston Kjerstad having a bad route in the triple, that led to a run. Dean spikes the ball that led to a run, right? So it's little things on top of it. And the crazy thing here is that I would feel like this team's like the Colorado Rockies, like a team that truly is not competing on a consistent basis. And yet the Orioles tomorrow very well could go out there and win game 2. And they're 10-13, and they have a chance to win the series. People just want consistency from a squad. It's hard to get that from guys that right now are pressing. And I told you guys before, I'll talk about it more, like being around some of the guys, you can tell who's comfortable right now and who isn't. That's why I pushed for Cedric Mullins so much last year. It's not because I'm saying, hey, Ced's hitting well right now the whole entire time. It's going, hey, am I worried about Ced in any factor mentally? No. I can't say the same about some of the other guys. It's because they have to learn how to compartmentalize that. And once they do, they're going to be really good. But they got to realize the fact of you rode a wave of this high for a year and a half. Now you got to dig in and work through it. And Zach, I'm not the only one that says this. What did Mark DeRosa say today about how many games?
40.
So mid-May to June, we already are acknowledging what the team is struggling with. It's beating a drum on this. It's whatever. But you have now until that 40-game stretch to prove that you can continue to fight. And if not, well, we're going to have a lot of answers here. And I'll tell you this, things will change. If you get to the 40 games and it is that bad, things are going to change. You don't want to make drastic 10s at 9 and 13, but you might have to make more of those in mid-May and June. I know that's not the answer people want to hear, but this team isn't 4 and 15. They're 9 and 13. So I just want to emphasize that. And again, it's the way that they're losing, which is bothering people, which again
and that's the biggest thing.
Yes.
It's the, at times it feels uncompetitive because they'll fall behind 6-7 in a game, early on, and you feel like it's done. So I think that's the other thing is it's also not, that they're hanging in for half the game. Then at the end, the Nationals jump ahead. It kind of felt like once it honestly went 5-0, you were like, that's ball game. So I think that's where you would like to see some energy. Even Jordan Westberg, he's talking about they will be that blue collar, gritty, come from behind team again. You gotta, that's what I think everyone has seen from them and is expecting from them. I think that's what's more frustrating because you're like, we've seen you guys, this almost exact same roster, just more experienced, do this before, So that's why it kind of is frustrating because you're like, man, if only we could see that spark they had just a year and a half ago. Hell, even a year ago to start last season, they were like that. It's looking for that team still.
Yeah, and I want to say, because I see, Tim, I think I've seen you comment about GM firing Elias at least 100 or 200 times. Look, I want people to understand this in general. Who constructs the team? Yes, it is going to be Mike Elias in the front office.
Mhm.
I've been on record saying this. The one guy that they could have gotten if they wanted to get was Garrett Crochet. That was the one guy I could look at
Mhm.
and say, you wanted him, you could have got him. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people would have felt differently if Garrett Crochet was a Baltimore Oriole.
Yeah.
Everyone else, Evaldi didn't want to come to Baltimore. That was a big guy that I liked.
Loved
You're
it.
looking at values around Justin Verlander, other guys that I even liked. Verlander is trying to figure it out. Scherzer's hurt again. So you're looking at these guys. And so you went with one guy with Morton, which we talked about earlier. And I'd still argue with any of the Orioles pitchers and pitch selection, you have to be better with your pitch selection or you're going to get rocked, and pitch location, two things. But I think that was maybe underestimated, and I don't know how to compartmentalize this, or sorry, how to articulate this properly. Were you accounting? How do you account for your 1-1 pick to be hitting 200 so far to start the year? How can you account
Yeah.
for that Jordan Westberg, your all-star, we went for 0 for 30? Gunner's trying to battle back. There's so many different pieces there. And Zach, we're going to play this clip tomorrow. Yeah. I think one thing that is noticed the more, it's a belief in a culture that doesn't feel as strong as it did. That to me, and you can say that's the manager, you can say you're trying to set that inside, but also some guys it's tough love. Hey, you got to figure this shit out. You can't press, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that was underestimated. Buster Posey, that's the clip we're going to play again tomorrow because I think that we need to talk about that. Buster Posey just came in to be the Giants' front office guy. They had a lot of players from last year on that team. And what Willie Adames signed, and they said it made the team better. They brought some baseball people in. I thought that was a really interesting comment, Zach. We'll save it for tomorrow. And also, we do have some other fun guests tomorrow. And Kev, I know you're missing some food with us, which I'm sorry.
I think I can come in. Actually, I think I can do it because they're not doing a squad show this week. So I have to confirm it, but I think that's why I haven't texted you today because I'm 90% sure, but not 100% sure. So I think I'll be able to finally eat some food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Ryan, not sure.
What?
Huh? Was going to say, not sure what you saw earlier, but we did react to played the Mark DeRosa clip earlier, just talking about the, kind of, at least from, when we talk about vibes, having that consistency every day and being like, okay, I know where my role is. I know what I'm going to be asked to do. It can impact guys.
You remember last year, I emphasized that, Zach, on high leverage guys in the bullpen. And I still think the same holds true with position players. And that's what Mark brought up. But again, Zach, if I say that, it ain't going to matter as much,
Never does.
Never does. But I'm not. And again, when people know this, going on X and trying to explain this in a tweet, I even tried to articulate. I was about to write out a tweet and I was like, damn, I write something here. I'm not going to get the message across enough. And then Mark DeRosa, we have the comments there, and that's a way better conversation to explain. So that's what we're going to continue to do. But right here, they were the comeback kids at 23. Talk about an identity. They were. That was a culture. It was you were a part of a team that you didn't blink when something didn't go your way. Now you're second guessing every little thing, or you're nervous. And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed with the squad. It's this hesitancy that you're not going to figure it out. So you get super tight and you play like a team that is super tight. And you're not going to say play down because I think the Nats are really good. James Wood on cue, Zach. Holy shirts.
Yeah.
The
guy knows how to hit and how to hit the opposite way.
Yeah, but hey, anyway, and again, you guys done a good job of this, but I want to remind people because there's so many people still on, guys, who are listening for Kevin and Zach Reacts, through the good and bad. And I heard Zach was coming in just hurting, but you guys lift him up, but they try to lift your spirit. So again, hit that like and subscribe, whatever you donate and be a part of this. This is helping these guys, and there are people helping people with this community. So my job to come on here and be like, hey, these guys rock. Sometimes they do some stupid shit like Kevin. I don't know what he does with the ramen and
I haven't done too many crazy things this year, but there really hasn't been a lot of crazy stuff to do because we haven't really had a ton to celebrate.
We're still just over 10% of the year done, Kevin.
Yeah.
There's still so much room for
I'm
activity.
not saying, yeah, there's gonna be some stuff that goes
corn dogs, Kevin.
Corn dogs.
You know what? 100 mini corn dog challenge.
Can confirm Kevin can't take tequila.
Okay.
So factual.
Actually, I actually can. I'm just unorthodox in my method.
It's
maybe
horrendous.
this is
not unorthodox, horrendous.
That's
it is because it gets the job done.
Hey, you know what? It's not crazy unless it doesn't work.
See,
here,
exactly.
I'm
not a good shot taker, but you know what? I'm gonna come into the studio tomorrow and I'm gonna be a shot maker.
Wear orange. They're undefeated in all orange. Also,
the all orange also just look clean.
Yeah, and then Kevin, you get some lunch meat out again.
I don't. You didn't put it. You didn't play it today, did you, Zach?
No, I didn't.
I'm just gonna say I was reminded of that moment yesterday.
We're waiting for a win to debut that. I was not debuting that after a 7-0 run.
I was reminded of that recently. I am so serious when I say, because again, I don't act things out. I like everything I do is real. I legitimately thought that he was like, okay, slap the meat on your head. And people thought, oh, you're acting. What gives me incentive to act this stuff out? There's no incentive for me to do that. I'm also just not a good actor. Like, this is just genuinely what I do. So
I don't know if that's interesting. So when people say like it's just what I do, it's not an act. Like that's a very good representation of what is Kevin Ostreicher. So a lot of different things though, guys. You got to find what works. I mean, hell, I'm not even kidding. Like with some of these moments, I'll be like, hey guys, saddle up. We're going to get a couple shot glasses. That was kind of my mentality. And we are going to hash this out with some tequila. And there's a lot back up there. You just got to find a way to reset, and it's crazy to think about that, but look how quickly you guys just did. And people laughing in the chat of going, oh man, Kevin smacked himself with some meat. Good times, right? How quickly your mind can change. That's the same thing on a baseball field. That's why people are so damn superstitious, is because you try to trick your mind to get you to play well out in the field. The last thing with the analytics to the human element, that is a human element that is so underplayed. The Baltimore Orioles on paper should be one of the best offenses in baseball. They're not, because the human element shows that they aren't handling themselves and their emotions and their stresses enough. Favorite quote that I have right now is, you can't measure a player's heartbeat. So analytics can tell you that Tyler O'Neill's going to crush lefties. Well, right now he's not. Is that the analytics, or is that the human element saying something's off? And you got to figure that part out. So that's all I have to say about that. But you guys are doing great. Good kids. I mean, hey, I'm not saying I want this to happen so far, but I think the last 2 days you guys have been very therapeutic for the group here.
We try. Yep. We try.
They're therapeutic for us as well.
Yeah,
that's
very
true.
Do so at your own risk. I'll give you that advice. I think everybody, all three of us and everybody in the chat, I think knows what would transpire. But you know what? Hey, if you're feeling spicy, man, you go for it.
I think I haven't said, I've really stayed away from saying the O's are fine this year in general. just to like have something new. We have the shirts for the Holy Shirts and Pants members, which I'm having handwritten notes, by the way, so it's taking me a little bit longer because I do appreciate the group over there. But yeah, it, baseball sucks at times. It's the best and the worst thing in the world. So
Yeah.
I love coming on and watching you guys jump up and down over the best moments of a game. And then Zach or Kevin, if you're out, but it's usually Zach, whatever the hell he's doing. And then there is some comedy in the downside. But you got to look at what life is, So
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's just people helping people.
People helping
We do.
people.
That's what we do.
All right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys. You guys can close it out, do your thing. So
Yeah.
I'll see all of you tomorrow.
2:30.
And we'll have Trey Mancini tomorrow. We can talk to him
Boom.
about
There it
whatever the
is.
hell is going on. Cheers.
That's what you get, Bert. You stay late night, Kevin and Zachariak, you get to know the next day. Ryan Ripken Show, Trey Mancini, live tomorrow, Ryan Ripken Show, 2:30. Be there. Be there.
Be there.
See you, Ryan.
All right. Bye, Ryan.
Did he just
okay.
add himself?
Oh, okay.
Up. He's gonna.
He's up. Oh.
I'm gonna ban him.
Yeah. Change the login. We also
And yes, sir. Boom, boom. Coming in for he'll be on tomorrow. So Trey Mancini will be on the Ryan Ripken Show with us live tomorrow. So that'll be a fun time. Always great to catch up with Trey. But Kevin, anything else after this? Anything else?
A couple. Just in the chat. Fatos fan. We might try to do this during the playoffs, assuming they make the playoffs. Again, that right now it doesn't really feel like they're going to, but if they make the playoffs.
It's also a long season. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a long season. If the Orioles turn this thing around and we actually have a meaningful baseball game, I am very down to do a live react show. And,
if there's a big series against the Yankees or,
if we get
down the stretch, if they're fighting for a playoff spot,
last year we were literally on here watching the Yankees live, with the chat. So if it gets back down to meaningful baseball, we're going to be having a lot of watch-alongs. If they start playing well, we'll be doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of hinted at it earlier. We got something else, maybe that's going to debut soon, hopefully.
Hopefully. And then Kevin and Zach will step-by-step plan to get the season back on track. I'd start with a win. I think that's a good start.
Win tomorrow.
And then just don't get too far in your head. Just feels like all these guys are in their head right now. Mental mistakes, mental errors, all the negative energy people are feeding off of. It's all spiraling right now. You got to get out of the spiral. It's not going to be an overnight thing if we're being honest. Like they might win tomorrow, but it's going to take a while to fully get everything back. And there's no guarantee.
Step one.
Win
tomorrow.
Win tomorrow.
And then we can worry about step two.
That's right. And then Tommy with the $2. It's true. But all right. Tommy, $2. The Pessimist by Wale is the 2025 Orioles vibe song. We need Sweet Escape vibes back for the Orioles.
So bad. We need it so bad, Kevin.
Man. Well, that's all I got. So
yeah, I think that's all I got as well. You know what? Orioles are back at it tomorrow. But that's going to do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. Orioles lose 7-0. Yeah, kind of just reminding myself of that. Orioles lose 7-0. Another tough one. Try to get back on track tomorrow against the Nationals. We will be back after the game to break it down. Hopefully an Orioles win. But that's going to do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. Tommy Sugar on the mound tomorrow. Let's go get that win, baby. And we will see you all after the game. R.I.P. Cheeto Martinez.
Good one. Rest in peace. Kevin Millwood.
Ooh. I love it, Kevin.